All right, everyone, this next health tip is a very, very sensitive topic. It gets very personal, and what I'm talking about is your morning coffee. So I saw it on the news the other day. I think it was almost close to 80% of the US population drinks coffee on a daily basis. That's almost even hard to fathom. That's probably why you see so many different coffee companies um, around the nation or in stores. There's just so many different brands of coffee because it's a good business. So I have a challenge for you. If this is who I'm talking to, are those people that have to have their coffee on a daily basis and just not one cup, but it's either the grande, the big cup, or they have 2 to 3 to 4 cups or more a day. There are health benefits of coffee, and I'm not going to go into those right now. But the problem is with the amount of caffeine that you are bringing into your body and affecting your adrenal glands. Coffee and caffeine does not give you energy. A lot of people say, well, I beg to differ. It gives me energy. What it does is it stimulates you. So it doesn't necessarily energize you, it stimulates you, and there is a difference between the two. And when it stimulates you, what it's doing is it's stimulating your adrenal glands. And our adrenal glands sit right on top of our kidneys, and they're responsible for producing different hormones and chemicals and things like that. But when they're constantly stimulated, then they have a tendency to go into a state of dysfunction, and that's a problem. So you're constantly liquidly or chemically stimulating these adrenal glands. So my challenge to you is switch to a decaf coffee. Yes, I said it. And if I was on stage right now, people would probably throw tomatoes and dead fish at me. So, and that's okay. I'm not on stage, so I feel protected. But switching to a decaf coffee. And what's going to happen more than likely is you're not going to notice that much of a difference. A lot of times the compulsive coffee drinkers, the more coffee you drink, the less stimulation that you actually feel and get. So if you've been a chronic coffee drinker for years or even months, and you're doing that for repetitively for a long time, the caffeine's not going to necessarily have as much of an effect on you. So this is sort of the strategy to get you to switch to decaf. Now, decaf still has some caffeine in it. It's around 5 to 10, maybe 15 milligrams compared to I'm talking about a regular cup of coffee, has around 50 to 60 milligrams of caffeine in it. But part of the process of the reason that America is sort of addicted on caffeine or coffee in general, a lot of that is psychosomatic, because what happens, it's so routine that it's comforting to us. It's habitual, meaning you smell the coffee, you hear the coffee maker going, and this is on a daily basis. It's almost like you can't live without it. And then you have the warmth of the coffee, the taste of the coffee. Maybe you're putting a lot of sugars and other things in it that it tastes really good, and it's your routine. You have your special canister, your coffee cup that you take to work or you sit on the porch with. So it's very comforting because it is a ritual. And that's part of the psychosomatic reason that we do get this uplifting part of drinking coffee. It's not necessarily just the caffeine. So my challenge to you is just try this, a few weeks or a month and see if you can switch to a decaffeinated coffee. Now, here's the thing. When you do switch to a decaffeinated coffee, you have to choose the proper decaffeinated coffee. So what it means is that there is no difference meaning there's not a decaffeinated coffee bean tree and a caffeinated coffee bean tree. They're the same thing. What's happening is the bean, after it's picked, has to be decaffeinated. And the way most companies do this is they use different chemicals to decaffeinate that bean. So it's through a process, and this is what we don't want. So there is an alternative avenue from the chemical side, is companies will use what's called a Swiss water process or a Swiss water method to decaffeinate those beans. And the way they do this is using water compared to chemicals. So it's a better way to do this and keep the chemical load out of our body, which we're always trying to do. So what you have to do, though, is you have to do your research where you buy your coffee from, either at the store or online, to make sure that they are using a Swiss water method. If it doesn't say it on the package, then it's not a Swiss water method. They're using a chemical to decaffeinate their bean, because the company is going to brag about it. They're taking that extra step. So it should say Swiss water process decaffeination. So this is an example of one. This is an organic one. I would always buy organic coffees. I'm going to do that in another video, but always buy organic coffees. You should not be drinking coffee that is not organic. Another one that's going to say, this is an organic coffee, decaf. It's going to say SWP method, Swiss water process, on the package somewhere. A challenge with this is finding organic Swiss water decaffeinated coffees. You're only going to find a couple of these because people like their caffeinated coffee. So my challenge is you to switch, find a good decaffeinated coffee, switch for a couple weeks or a month, and tell me if you feel any different. I'm not going to guarantee it, but I pretty much almost guarantee it that you're going to feel the same. The coffee still is going to taste the same. You're just not going to have that stimulant, but I believe you're still going to get that satisfaction of that soothing effect or that psychosomatic effect that we all get from drinking the coffee. So take this challenge. Please don't throw the tomatoes and dead fish at me on stage for telling you to drink decaf. Almost people think that is some type of anti problem, but give it a try and tell me what you think and what the results are.